More news, rumors and opinions Sunday PM September 15, 2024. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. KTFA. Frank 26. Because the wrong path was a program rate, F26 Al-Sudani. Iraq today is on the right path September 14, 2024. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, during a dialogue seminar by the Anki Foundation for Studies and Research on the Path to Development, in the presence of Mr. al-Hakim. Iraq depends on oil as the only source to cover its expenses, which have begun to increase. The development path needs more study and clarification. We must think properly to activate sectors that support oil. There must be projects that suit Iraq to be a focus of development. We have started establishing and implementing the Development Road Project, which will transform Iraq into an open country. We have unnatural materials that have not been exploited in industries and the strategic location of Iraq. We are in the planning, design and other studies phase, and we have approached the World Bank to begin implementing the development road from Basra to Mosul. Capital finds opportunity in Iraq amid security and political stability. Many capitals want to invest in Iraq. Iraq today is on the right track. Frank 26. Why? Because the monetary reform demands this. F26. Al-Alaq. The number of digital banks in Iraq will be greater than neighboring countries. September 14, 2024. The governor of the Central Bank of Iraq expected, on Saturday, that the number of digital banks in the country would increase and be larger than in neighboring countries. This came during his hosting of the activities of the Electronic Payment Conference towards Financial Stability in Iraq, which was launched in the capital, Baghdad, and was attended by a Shafaq news agency correspondent. Al-Alaq said during the hosting that the experience of digital banks in the world is an experience that indicates a shift towards an approach that is completely consistent with technical developments and employing them in a direction that serves various operations. He added, digital banks are widely spread in the world, and the volume of financial transactions for these banks has reached about 5 trillion annually. And it is hoped that the number will reach about $7 trillion by the year 2027. Al-Alaq also pointed out that this is an important indicator that calls on us to stimulate this aspect, focus on it and push it forward. Adding that, Iraq will be one of the countries that will advance in digital banks that occupy an important space, and the number of these banks in Iraq will be greater than in neighboring countries. He continued by saying, before launching the licensing round for digital banks, the central bank conducted in-depth studies and reviewed the experiences of other countries extensively until we set the necessary rules and controls to license this type of bank. The central bank governor concluded his speech by saying, we were surprised that the number of applicants to establish digital banks exceeded 70 banks. Stressing that, the central bank is studying the applications to establish digital banks, sorting them out, and selecting a limited number of them. Frank 26, Iraq Boots on the Ground Report, Firefly. Mr. Sami, Iraqi bank manager friend, says we are in charge of our own money. It's not being overseen by the US Treasury. Frank, this is the most powerful thing I can share with you tonight. When Alaq came back, he told everybody there's no more sanctions on the banks of Iraq. That means your program rate does not exist anymore. Firefly. Mr. Sami says they are running the new system. This new system will remain for the rest of the year. This monetary reform education phase we're in right now will last for this whole year. Post 1 of 2. Stay tuned. Frank 26, Iraq Boots on the Ground Report. Frank. Mr. Sami and I are on the same page. The only difference is he's turning the page a little slower than I am. I do not see this going into next year. Actually, it's impossible. I see the monetary reform education. Commercials. US Treasury revealing to you all sanctions have been released. Which tells me we are extremely close. Mr. Sami tells you it's coming at the end of the year or beginning. I tell you it's now. Post 2 of 2, Fed's own charts show dollars purchasing power heading to zero, hyperinflation next, Lynette Zhang. Kitco News. September 15, 2024. Michelle McQuarrie, lead anchor and editor-in-chief at Kitco News, interviews Lynette Zhang, founder and CEO of Zhang Enterprises, who warns that the transition to hyperinflation has already begun. Zhang says to expect tremendous market volatility in 2025, adding that the public will start losing confidence in the US dollar. She also breaks down the latest developments when it comes to the health of the US banking sector, her recession outlook, global monetary system shifts, and the role that gold plays. Zhang also shares her gold price outlook and how to prepare for the coming economic uncertainty. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.